Picture this. It's launch day. Not just any launch. The one people have been waiting over a decade for. You've had the date circled for months. You took the day off work. You, and it turns out, a shocking number of other people. The countdown on your screen ticks down. 3, 2, 1. And the moment it hits 0, something strange happens. Not just on your screen. Everywhere. Across the entire planet, at the exact same second, hundreds of millions of people click play. And for the next 72 hours, the world quietly stops. This is the story of what happens when one video game becomes bigger than movies, bigger than music, bigger than some countries' entire economies. This is GTA 6 launch day, and how a single piece of entertainment could, just for a weekend, bring the modern world to its knees. It sounds like an exaggeration, but stick with me, because the further we go, the less crazy it sounds. And by the end, we're going to hit a question that's genuinely a little unsettling. Let me show you. First, you have to understand the scale, because nothing in entertainment history compares to what this launch actually is. The last game in this series came out over a decade ago, and in that time, it didn't fade away. It did the opposite. It became one of the best-selling products of all time, in any category. Not just games, any product. We're talking hundreds of millions of copies, year after year, long after it launched. So when a single trailer for the sequel finally dropped, it didn't just do well. It broke records that had nothing to do with gaming. Most viewed, most liked, fastest to hundreds of millions of views. People took time off just to watch a 90-second video. Grown adults refreshed their screens at midnight to look at a trailer for a product they couldn't buy for years. And the budget behind it. Estimates put this as possibly the most expensive entertainment product ever created. More than the biggest Hollywood blockbusters. More than most space missions. A mountain of money and a decade of work, all pointed at one single day. Now here's the part that makes launch day so dangerous. Every single one of those hundreds of millions of people is waiting for the same clock to hit 0. Not spread out over weeks like a movie rolling into theaters. One moment, one global countdown. Everyone, everywhere, hitting go together. And the modern world is not built to handle everyone doing the same thing at the same time. The clock hits 0. The first thing to break is the thing you can't see. The internet itself. When hundreds of millions of people try to download the same enormous file in the same hour, the pipes clog. Download servers buckle. Speeds crawl. In some regions, the whole network slows for everyone, not just the players, because so much of the world's bandwidth is suddenly being sucked toward one file. This isn't science fiction. We've watched smaller versions of it happen for years. A popular game launch takes its own servers down within minutes. A hyped digital release crashes the store selling it. Now multiply that by the single biggest launch ever attempted. Then comes the second thing to break. The workday. Because a shocking number of those players were supposed to be somewhere else. At a desk. On a shift. In a classroom. And the data on this is real. Big game launches measurably dent productivity. People call in sick. Offices go quiet. Focus evaporates. Now imagine that effect, but for the most anticipated release in history, hitting every time zone in a rolling wave as midnight sweeps around the globe. Picture it from above. Midnight rolls across the map like a shadow, and everywhere it touches, the lights of productivity flicker off, and the glow of 100 million screens flickers on. Asia first, then Europe, then the Americas. A wave of be right back washing across the entire planet. For about 3 days, a measurable chunk of human civilization simply checks out, and that has consequences nobody signed up for. Now let's talk about what this does to money. Because this is where it stops being funny and starts being genuinely staggering. The previous game made its entire massive budget back in days. This one is expected to shatter that. Analysts talk about it doing $1 billion in its opening weekend. Faster than any movie has ever managed. Faster than almost any product in history. One weekend. $1 billion. From a single piece of software. To put that in perspective, the biggest movies of all time take weeks or months to reach numbers this game might hit before you finished your coffee on Sunday. And that reveals something we don't usually say out loud. Gaming isn't the little cousin of the entertainment world anymore. It quietly became the biggest form of entertainment on Earth. Bigger than movies and music combined. This launch is the moment that becomes impossible to ignore. When one game outsells Hollywood's entire year in a weekend, the balance of cultural power has officially shifted. But money at this scale doesn't stay contained. It ripples. Think about everything that moves because of this launch. Millions of new consoles and graphics cards bought just to run it. Internet providers straining under the load. Energy use spiking as hundreds of millions of machines run flat out for days. Merchandise, streaming. An entire economy of people whose job is now just to play this game on camera for millions of viewers. One product. And around it, an economy the size of a small nation springs up overnight. By day 2, this stops being a gaming story and becomes a world story. The news covers it. Not the gaming press, the regular news. The kind that usually ignores this stuff entirely. Because when productivity dips, when networks strain, when $1 billion moves in 48 hours, that's no longer entertainment. That's an economic event, and people in power start to notice something uncomfortable. One private company with one product just demonstrated that it can pull the attention of hundreds of millions of people to a single point at a single moment on command. It can effectively hit pause on a meaningful slice of the world for a weekend. No election got that turnout. No holiday coordinates that many people that precisely. No government announcement commands that kind of instant willing global attention. Half-jokingly, someone somewhere suggests making launch day a holiday. Because so many people are taking it off anyway, why fight it? And here's the thing. It's a joke, until it isn't. We already reshape our lives around these releases. We already schedule around them. The line between a game came out and the world took a day off together is thinner than we like to admit. Which brings us to the part that actually matters. Here's what I keep coming back to. We treat this as harmless fun, and mostly it is. But step back and look at what launch day really proves. It proves that in our world, attention has become the most powerful resource there is. And a small number of companies have gotten extraordinarily good at capturing it. Not with force, not with laws, with something we hand over willingly, even excitedly. Think about what that means. A single entity can now coordinate the behavior of hundreds of millions of people, worldwide, down to the second. Today, it points that power at something joyful, a game we genuinely love. But power like that doesn't care what it's pointed at. The same machinery that can make the world stop for a game could, in principle, make it stop for anything. We built an entire civilization that can be captivated on command, and we mostly haven't stopped to ask who holds the remote. That's the strange trait of the modern age. We got the most incredible entertainment humans have ever created. Worlds so rich, so detailed, so alive that hundreds of millions of us will happily disappear into them for days. And the price of that magic is that our attention became the most valuable, most fought-over thing on the planet. Launch day is just the moment it becomes visible, the moment you can actually see, on a world map, the pull of it. So a game breaks the world for a weekend. Everyone has fun. Life goes back to normal. No harm done, right? Maybe. But here's the thought I can't shake. This game took over a decade to build. Thousands of people. $1 billion+ dollars. A staggering human effort, all to craft one world by hand. And technology doesn't stand still. By the time the next one comes around, the tools will have changed completely. The worlds might not be built by thousands of people over 10 years. They might be generated, endlessly, instantly, by machines. A game that never ends. A world that rewrites itself around you. Entertainment perfectly tuned to keep you, specifically, playing forever. If a game made by humans can already make the world stop for a weekend, what happens when the game is made by something that knows exactly which buttons to push? Something that never runs out of ideas, never stops improving, and has one single goal. Don't let you look away. We're about to hand the most powerful attention-capturing machine ever built to a mind that isn't human. And that is a question for another video.